Aniathi, the younger sister. Amini, a vibrant young girl with laughter dancing in her eyes, was immersed in a game of ball badminton with her friends. Suddenly, a telegram arrived. It was from her brother, Apu. He was working in a distant city, a world away from their village. The message was short and sweet, filled with warmth and longing. He was coming home. Amini reached her small, modest home, her heart still filled with the joy of her brother's upcoming visit. Her father, a frail man weakened by illness, lay on a cot in the corner of the room. He was concerned about Apu, his eldest son, who was working far away. The news of his impending visit had brought a glimmer of hope. Bhargavan, a restaurant owner, was chatting with SP, his brother's friend. He shared the news that his elder brother was coming home that day. Amini, her heart filled with excitement and anticipation, arrived at the railway station. She scanned the crowd, searching for her brother's familiar face. When she finally spotted him, a wave of shock washed over her. Apu, her beloved brother, has become blind. Pachu Kurup, who had been a constant companion to Apu during his arduous journey, happened to meet SP at the railway station. As they conversed, SP mentioned that Bhargavan, Pachu's younger brother, had used all the money he had sent to start a restaurant. Pachu was taken aback by this revelation. As they rode home in a taxi, a somber silence settled between Amini and Apu. Finally, Apu broke the silence, his voice filled with a mixture of sadness and acceptance. He recounted the tragic accident, the sudden darkness that had enveloped his world. On a bright, sunny day, Apu and his friends decided to spend the day at the beach. They were having a wonderful time, laughing, swimming, and soaking up the sun. As the day wore on, they ventured to a rocky area, where they continued their fun. In a moment of carelessness, Apu slipped on a wet rock and fell, hitting his head hard. He lost consciousness and was rushed to the hospital. When he regained consciousness, he realized that he had lost his vision. The doctors offered a glimmer of hope, suggesting that with continuous medical treatment, he might regain his sight. Apu, though heartbroken by his misfortune, wanted to shield his family from further distress. He asked Amini not to reveal the truth to their father. He insisted on behaving as if nothing had changed, determined to maintain a sense of normalcy. Little did Apu know, their father's health had taken a turn for the worse. Amini, with a heavy heart, shared the news. Their father, already weakened by illness, was now bedridden. The news of Apu's accident and subsequent vision loss would undoubtedly devastate him. Meanwhile, Apu's father instructed his servant to remove all the medicines from the house, hoping to conceal his condition from Apu. Apu arrived home, determined to maintain his facade of normalcy. He greeted his father with a forced smile, pretending to see the world around him. His father was keen to interact with his son. He offered Apu a cup of tea, a gesture of love. Apu hesitated. He knew that if he reached out to take the tea, his father would instantly understand the truth. The simple act of accepting a cup of tea had become a complex challenge, a stark reminder of his newfound disability. Apu's hesitation irritated his father, who was already struggling with his own health. He couldn't understand why his son was acting so strangely. It was then that Amini intervened, quickly taking the teacup from her father's hand and guiding Apu's hand to hold it. Pachu Kurup, fueled by anger and betrayal, confronted Bhargavan about misusing the money he had sent. The heated argument escalated, culminating in Pachu forcibly evicting Bhargavan from his own restaurant. The humiliation and anger pushed Bhargavan to the brink, sowing the seeds of deep-seated resentment. As if that wasn't enough, Pachu also ordered Bhargavan out of his house, further deepening the rift between the two brothers. As Amini helped Apu eat, a sense of sadness filled her. She knew their financial situation was precarious and continuing her education might become a burden. "I think I should stop going to college," she said, her voice filled with resignation. "We can't afford it anymore." Apu's father, despite his illness, wanted to keep his son's spirits high. He asked Apu to read the Ramayana. Apu, though eager to please his father, found himself in a difficult situation. Just as the tension in the room began to rise, Amini stepped in. She took the book and started reading, her voice soothing and clear. One day, a milkman arrived at their doorstep, demanding payment for the overdue milk bills. The situation was tense, and the milkman's insistent tone added to the stress. Pachu, who came to visit Apu, offered to pay the bill. However, Amini politely declined his offer. Apu, sensing the growing tension, called Amini inside. He handed her whatever little money they had left. Pachu, however, had a different agenda. He told the milkman that they had plenty of money inside the house, but he was simply playing a game with them. This revelation exposed Pachu's true colors, revealing his manipulative and cruel nature. Apu's father urged Apu to return to work, reminding him not to waste precious leave. With a heavy heart, he confessed his fears, hinting that he might not be alive the next time Apu returned. His words, filled with love and concern, deeply affected Apu. Apu was deeply touched by his father's words. His heart ached with love and sorrow. Overcome by emotion, he began to weep. Without realizing, his father had moved to another part of the room. Apu, unaware of this, walked towards the old spot. His father, shocked to see Apu's confusion, realized the truth. The realization was too much for him to bear, and he collapsed to the ground. Amini, hearing the commotion, rushed to the scene, her heart pounding with fear. She found her father unconscious and immediately ran to call a doctor. While waiting for the doctor, Apu used a hand fan to comfort his father, hoping to soothe him. Little did he know that his father had already passed away. When doctor finally arrived, he confirmed the tragic news. A few days later, Amini, burdened by grief and financial worries, began her job search. She soon realized that without strong recommendations and connections, finding a suitable job would be a daunting task. To repay their mounting debts, they were forced to sell their beloved home. They moved into a much smaller house, their hearts heavy with loss and uncertainty. Apu, determined to support his family, suggested that Amini could make and sell flower garlands. They could use the flowers from their garden to create beautiful garlands. With renewed hope, they began tending to their garden, nurturing the plants with care. One day, Pachu Kurup visited Apu's new home. As he saw Amini tending to the garden, he couldn't resist the urge to flirt with her. However, Amini simply ignored him. But before leaving, Pachu offered to help Amini find a job. One day, Amini and Apu were in a bustling market. Amini asked Apu to stand in a specific spot while she went to a nearby shop. However, due to his visual impairment, Apu accidentally moved from his original position. A car suddenly swerved towards Apu, narrowly missing him. A quick-thinking police officer, Babu, intervened, saving Apu's life. Babu couldn't help but scold Amini for not being more careful. He also warned Apu against wandering alone. Apu felt a pang of sadness, realizing the limitations his disability imposed. Amini, understanding his feelings, suggested that she would go alone the next day, allowing him to rest at home. As night fell, Apu was gripped by a severe headache. With no one else to help, he endured the pain, unwilling to burden Amini with a late-night hospital visit. The next day, they managed to reach the hospital. The doctor prescribed a list of essential medications, but Amini was disheartened to realize she couldn't afford them. Desperate, Amini turned to Pachu for help. Surprisingly, he agreed to lend her the money for the medication, insisting that she didn't need to repay the debt. Amini shared the doctor's encouraging news with Apu. The doctor had mentioned that with proper treatment, there was a chance of regaining his vision. This news filled Amini with renewed hope. She vowed to do whatever it took to provide the necessary treatment, even if it meant taking up any kind of work, no matter how difficult or demanding. At Babu's home, his mother, a kind and caring woman, asked him to buy a garland while returning from work that evening. Babu, always eager to fulfill his mother's wishes, readily agreed. As usual, Amini prepared to sell the flower garlands. Before leaving, she lovingly instructed Apu on how to take care of himself and the house. As she was about to leave, Apu reminded her to check with Pachu about the job opportunity he had mentioned. As fate would have it, Amini encountered Babu while selling her garlands. He purchased one and, noticing she didn't have change, insisted she keep the balance. Later that day, Pachu was berating a sick employee. However, when he spotted Amini, he immediately softened his tone and started displaying a false sense of compassion towards the employee. Pachu invited Amini to his home, offering her a job as a music teacher for his niece. Amini agreed. Upon returning home, she excitedly shared the news with Apu. However, Apu was not pleased that she had kept the extra 2 rupees from Babu. He insisted that she return the money the following day. One day, Pachu encountered Bhargavan's wife on the street. A heated argument ensued, and in a fit of rage, Pachu knocked the rice she was carrying out of her hand. Babu, who happened to be nearby, intervened. He sternly warned Pachu and insisted that he accompany him to the police station. After spending hours at the police station, Pachu finally apologized to Babu, who, seeing his remorse, let him go. However, Pachu's true nature remained unchanged, and he secretly harbored resentment towards Babu. One day, Babu met Amini and invited her to his home to meet his mother. As they walked together, they were spotted by Pachu Kurup. Babu introduced Amini to his mother, who recognized her from her family. As they conversed, Amini mentioned her job as a music teacher for Pachu's niece. Babu, sensing the potential danger of such an association, expressed his concern about Pachu's character. Babu's mother asked Amini to deliver her garlands daily. After the music class, Pachu asks Amini to come a little late for the class. Amini gets suspicious about his intentions and just walks away. Babu's mother is forcing him to get married soon. When he was having breakfast, she hints about him marrying Amini. Another day, when Amini reaches Pak's house, his niece is not there. Amini tries to go back, knowing that this could be Pachu's trap. Pachu again tries to stop her by giving her some money, saying that it is the fees. But Amini understands what he is up to and refuses to take the money. She asks him to consider it in the debt he has to pay him. Later, Pachu meets Apu and gives him the money. He pretends to be a very good guy in front of Apu. Knowing that Apu trusts him, he badmouths a lot about Babu and says Amini is in bad company with him. This makes Apu sad. When Amini comes back after work, Apu shows his anger to her. Amini, the emotional being she is, starts crying. This changes Apu's mind. Next day, Amini is about to go out. She asks Apu whether she has to go to Pachu's home for the class. Apu insists yes. He thinks Pachu is a good man. Also, Amini doesn't tell him about the bad feeling she has about Pachu. Amini reaches Babu's home to give garlands. Babu stops her. He tells her that he would like to marry her. It is evident that Amini is also interested. She says that her primary aim now is to bring back Apu's vision. She cannot think of anything else now. Once Apu is normal, then only she can think about her marriage. Babu understands this and agrees with her. Babu's mother sends some sweets to Amini. When Apu comes to know that it is from Babu's mother, he gets angry. He hates Babu because of all the gossips Pachu has told him. He doesn't want Amini to go near Babu. Amini tries to reason with him but fails. At that time, Babu comes to her home hoping to meet Apu. Seeing that it is a wrong time, Amini rushes to Babu and sends him back, not telling the reason. Babu happens to meet SP. In between their conversation, Babu happens to mention about Amini. SP is Pachu's friend. He says that Amini and Pachu are having an affair. This shocks Babu. Apu is tensed about the strained relationship with his sister. He calls Amini and talks to her, making everything straight with her. Late night, Pachu comes to see Apu. He gives some medicine for good sleeping 50 Apu. When he comes out of the home, Babu, who happened to pass by, sees him coming out of Amini's home. This cements his suspicion about what SP said. Next morning, Babu sees Amini in the street. He hates her now. He shows no interest in talking to her. He talks about Pachu coming out of her home at late night. Amini is crying. He distraught her character. When Amini tries to explain what happened, he walks away saying, "Tell all those to your boyfriend Pachu Kurup." When Amini reaches Babu's place to deliver garlands, she sees Babu's mother. Overwhelmed by emotions, she starts crying. Babu's mother takes her inside. Amini tells her everything that has happened. Amini avoids going to Pachu's house for music classes. Babu returned home in the evening, only to be greeted by his mother's scolding. She admonished him for his behavior towards Amini. Babu's mother explained the situation to Babu, advising him to be patient in his relationships. Just as he was about to leave to meet Amini, a police officer arrived, summoning Babu back to the station. Reluctantly, he left. As night fell, Pachu Kurup, his face etched with a sinister grin, prepared himself for a nefarious plan. But he was being followed by a group of goons hired by his brother, Bhargavan. Pachu's destination was Amini's humble abode, where he intended to unleash his malevolence. Amini was startled to see Pachu at her doorstep at such a late hour. His demeanor was sinister, and his intentions were clear. When he made advances towards her, she firmly rejected him, threatening to raise an alarm. Pachu, however, was not deterred. He used psychological tactics, blackmailing Amini by threatening to expose her to people, claiming she had taken money from him and invited him over for immoral purposes. Amini was about to call Apu for help, but Pachu threatened to tell him rumors about her and Babu if she did so. He warned her that waking up Apu would only worsen the situation, as he would likely believe Pachu's malicious lies. Pachu was about to enter the house to wake up Apu, but Amini, with quick reflexes, grabbed a nearby hoe and struck him on the head. She then rushed inside and locked the door, her heart pounding with fear and adrenaline. After the initial shock, Pachu managed to stand up, but before he could escape, Bargavan's goons attacked him. They struck him on the head, and he fell to the ground, lifeless. One among the goons snatched Pachu's gold chain, was making a hasty retreat. He directly runs into the path of the patrolling police officers. As Amini prepared to leave for Babu's house, she stepped outside. The police, alerted by the commotion, arrived at the scene. The police detained Amini for questioning. In a state of shock and fear, she confessed to hitting Pachu with the hoe, unaware of the fatal blow that had been dealt to him. Babu, who had arrived at the scene, witnessed the unfolding events, his heart heavy with sorrow and confusion. The inspector left the scene to arrange for a police van. Apu woke up, oblivious to the chaos that had unfolded outside. Amini, granted permission by Babu, entered the house to speak with Apu. As Amini spoke, Apu praised Pachu's kindness and generosity. Overwhelmed by her emotions, Amini finally revealed the truth about Pachu's true nature, omitting the tragic detail of his death. She poured her heart out, sharing the pain and fear she had endured. Apu was filled with remorse, regretting his earlier judgment of Pachu. He apologized to Amini for the harsh words he had spoken about Babu, acknowledging his own mistake in trusting the wrong person. The conversation then turned to the topic of marriage, with Apu suggesting a future between Amini and Babu. However, Amini quickly dismissed the idea, her heart still heavy with the weight of recent events. Apu, feeling a sense of peace, asked Amini to sing a lullaby, a familiar melody that would lull him back to sleep. Amini, her voice filled with a mixture of sadness and resignation, sang the song. As she finished, she surrendered herself to the waiting police officers. Inside the lockup, Amini's thoughts were consumed by worry for Apu. She expressed her concern to Babu, emphasizing that her only priority was her brother's well-being. Babu assured her that he would take care of Apu until she was released. He also expressed his unwavering commitment, stating that he would wait for her, no matter how long it took. However, Amini declined his offer. Her sole focus was on Apu's recovery, and she urged Babu to prioritize his well-being. With a heavy heart, Babu agreed. He promised to ensure that Apu received the best possible care, the same care that Amini would have provided. Babu says he's going straight to get Apu. Meanwhile, Apu accidentally knocks over the kerosene lamp, igniting a terrifying blaze that rapidly consumes their home. The film ends on a heart-wrenching cliffhanger, leaving us to wonder if Babu can arrive in time to save Apu from the inferno.